Hey traders, welcome back. We are talking about trading with patience, and we're talking about specifically developing patience and knowing when to trade. We're on part 6 of a multi-part video series. Let me get the slide up that we want. Bing, there we go. Right, the previous video we talked about how we can capitalize on emotional order flow to give us a better edge in trading, to give us a better edge in the markets, to get us to better understand where potentially traders could go. And in a few videos before that, by the way, go to video number 1 if you kind of just stumbled across this and work your way through. They're not that long, they're kind of short and concise and hopefully, punchy, so we can get to the ideas. The point was that under normal conditions, it's very difficult for us to predict what someone's behavior might be, and we can extrapolate that into the markets and say, hey, it's very difficult to know whether we're going to have a buyer or a seller. Under certain stressful conditions, then perhaps we've got a better edge. So we looked at a prior chart, which was just an aggressive down movement. Now I want to look at this chart, okay? This random chart sitting there doing nothing. When the market does this, what are traders feeling? Exactly, nothing. Nobody cares what is going on. You've got a very small subset of people who care about those movements, some scalpers, whatever it is. Doesn't matter what this market is. It could be an index future, it could be a commodity, it could be a stock. Nobody cares when it's doing this. Institutions aren't moving money around. Retail traders aren't under any stress. The market is just sitting there chugging along, up a little bit, down a little bit. Sure, there are going to be some people who are trading that. But from a perspective of how can I guess whether somebody's going to buy it or sell it, I don't know, because nobody cares. There's no stress involved in this, is there? There's no immediate urgency to do something different. We've got a little bit of a breakout there to the downside, we've got a little breakout to the upside, we've got some kind of candles that are mixed. It's nothing. And so going back to the analogy we were talking about, the tape there, like a 50, 52, 51, etc. coming through the tape, predicting the next one is a little bit like this, right? It's just not easy to do. If the next candle is going to be, green or red. Okay, and I know that perhaps it's a little bit different. We've got this little extension now, but during the middle of this, is it next candle going to be green or red? It's a 50-50 toss-up, right? Your vote could be different to someone else's vote. And so we've got just mixed money coming in. Supply demand's pretty balanced. It's just meshing. Someone's buying a little bit, someone's selling a little bit. The whole thing's going nowhere. It's only when we start to do serious kind of business, we start to see institutional money flow. If institutional money is not flowing into this or out of this, then we can kind of jump on that institutional flow. We can look to jump on the institutional flow. We can use a setup or strategy that allows us to jump onto that institutional order flow. That's the point. At the moment, it's not, nobody cares about this. Or alternatively, we're looking at retail traders under stress. Is any retail trader under stress during this chart? They're not. A very few people are. Maybe some people who are over leveraged earlier on and they're kind of sitting there but in reality, this isn't a chart that says to you, hey, screaming out emotional order flow, institutions flowing money in or out. It just isn't. It's just sitting there. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't a trading strategy you can use on this. That's not the point of it. The point of the video is exercising patience and going into why we exercise patience. And exercising patience is because if we go back to defining the edge, or my edge in this case was waiting for institutional order flow or emotional retail order flow, these conditions don't have either. So why would I trade? So there's nothing else for me to do other than exercise patience, right? Because it's not matching my criteria. If I'm trying to predict where the next buyer is going to come from, who is going to buy it next, and why they're going to buy it next for my long, for it to go up, I'm just completely wasting my time because nobody cares what's going on. So this is what I kind of want to get across, guys, is that under these conditions, if we go back again to guessing what the next print's going to be, it's very, very challenging compared to the previous slide where we talked about the downward move. Now, I understand and appreciate that, of course, we could have V-shaped bottoms, we could have continuations, and of course you could have a strategy that fits into that. But the point is, it becomes easier watching and reading emotional order flow. And it doesn't necessarily even have to be like extreme spikes like that. It just has to be something where there is order flow, there is a supply-demand imbalance. When we kind of see that, then things become a little bit clearer, a little bit easier for us to predict. Anyway, guys, stay tuned. I think we're on part 7 now. So part 7 coming up. This is part 6, part 7 coming up. Make sure you stick around for that because we're going to continue this multi-part series on keeping patient when trading. Take care. Bye bye.